Good morning. Welcome to this week's Commander's List. If this is your first time visiting, I hope you enjoy it. I offer 12 coins here every week to my subscribers and to my email subscribers as well. You can find all this information at siliconvalleycoins.com. And if you like it, please hit the subscribe button. If you do want to order a coin on this list, please just send me a message either on YouTube, or if you want to send it on any sort of messenger or text or even an email with a timestamp, and I will let you know right away if you got it or not. So let's get started. 1880 Shield Nickel, Proof 64 Cameo. Very choice coin. Nice looking piece. Cameo is excellent. Not deep cameo. These are very hard to find with deep cameo. Most of the time because of the reverse, and I'll show you why. In general, the frosting, just because there's not as much just surface area of the devices, the frosting just is never dramatic enough really to have everything pop like the obverse does. This is true with 2 cent nickel or 2 cent pieces, with shield nickels, and that's pretty much it. At least I kind of noticed. Let's see, and these never really tend to be super frosted, so to find a deep cameo is just really tough. All right, there is a tiny little planchet flaw right there. I just want to point out, just for clarity. I would say this coin, is a shot 65, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. There's not a huge spread. I'm asking $850 for this piece. CPG is $950, but if you look at auction records, they go for less. So I generally try to stick with my pricing schema, and even when it's below CPG, I go ahead and offer what I think the coin is worth. So $850 for this beautiful type coin. All right, I got one more too. This one in 1881 in an old green label holder. No cameo on this. You can see the difference between this and this. Just so much more contrast. Not nearly as much black and white going on either. I think I slightly prefer this coin though, just from an overall technical standpoint. This coin's very choice. Not as much pop as the 1880. Obviously there's no cameo, especially on the reverse. Little bit of natural haze right there. It's very common on these nickels. Somebody would probably try to dip this because the lines on this are almost non-existent, but it just doesn't have enough pop. Some MS-70 maybe? I don't know. Some people think this is sacrilege when I talk about this stuff. I don't mess with coins a lot, but occasionally it pays to know what people do to coins so that when you see them in holders, you know what has happened. So anyway, this coin is $800. CPG is $850, similar to what the other one I'm asking for. 1881s are a little tougher. If you go in and look at the business strike pressure, you'll figure out why. All right, next up, very popular 8/7D Buffalo Nickels. You can see there it is. Very easy to see the overdate there. It just slashes right through the 8. One thing that's nice about Buffaloes is that, this coin is graded good 6, but look at all the detail on it. And really you just got to have a date. This coin has a lot of detail for a coin that's in good compared to, like, let's say a seated dime or something like that. You can still see the horn. It's a nice piece. These are very popular. Once they get above VF, these coins get very expensive. So this is a great grade to go ahead and try to purchase if you're trying to put together an entire set, because you're saving a ton of money, and given that there's still so much detail on a good coin, it seems like a no-brainer. This coin is $1,150. All right, what's next? Oh, I love this one. This piece I thought was gonna go gold. I really did. This coin looks like a 5 all day to me. It's got enough luster. The strike is certainly better than average on these high relief pieces. Uber original, but it's still white, which means a lot. Reverse all there. You know, I could see that you could complain a little bit about just doesn't have like blazing luster, but these high reliefs often don't anyway. You know, there's a little, scrape right there. It shouldn't be enough, especially not in the major focal areas here and here. Still mad I didn't get a gold sticker on this coin. Anyway, I'm offering it very strong. I think this coin is easily a 5. PCGS non-CACs are going over 3,000, and I'm offering this at 2,750, which is a lot for a 4, but not a lot if you agree with me that this coin is better than a 4. All right, that's the first of a little run of piece dollars. So here's the next one, 22D, relatively common coin. Nice looking piece. I'd say solid, not a 5. 22D should have more luster. I mean, that is the difference between like a 21 and a 22D. Pretty significant hit right there too. So in the focal area, this area right here on the eagle always gets just beat to crap. So always keep an eye on that. But the natural patina is really nice. And the coin is also mostly white, kind of antique white. Overall, $350. Next up is a great type coin and common coin, 1925. You should always know your common piece dollars and also know the difference in the fabric between them, right? So 1925s kind of come like this. 24s are much different. This fabric is kind of like a 23. Like it gets a little, I don't want to, glossy maybe is kind of the better way, like a glossy luster. This is natural for how the coin should look. I would say this is like a 65B coin, maybe like B minus even. Clean cheek, which is nice, and we'll talk about, I think there's a 27D where I want to talk about stuff to look at. Piece dollars take lines on their face and magnify them for some reason, however they were made, and they just don't look great when that happens. You can have them as long as they have normal skin and they can still grade like 63, like the 27D I'm going to show you. But in this piece, yeah, not a 6. I'd say 65B minus. But it's a cool coin to own. $225. That's about what they sell for. All right. Next up, a 1926D. Now we're starting to get into the tougher dates. You've heard me talk about on here before that in general, the cutoff is 1922 to 1926 are the quote-unquote easy ones, and then 27 to 35 are the tougher coins, with some exceptions. Obviously, 21 is kind of its own type because of the high relief. What I love about this coin is it's just very, very well struck. It's got a really, really nice look to it. Again, I'd say a solid coin for the grade, maybe like a B plus. I think a crack out artist guy would definitely be one that would be trying to crack this and dip it, because this coin would really pop if it did. Although that right there, I don't know if that's a little planchet issue or not. I need to loop that, kind of glossed over it. Anyway, $650 for this coin. One thing of note that I've always told all my collector clients is that if you're gonna put together an entire set of piece dollars, this is the grade to put them in. 64 CAC. Why is that? Well, there are some stoppers in gem. You can find really nice coins in 64 CAC, like this one. And like just trying to find a 24S and a 24S, 25S, 34S in gem CAC is brutal. I mean, you're going to pay multiples for the same coin, and this is the grade to put them together in. So consider that when if you are thinking about starting a new project. $650 for that. You can see I like 64s in this case. 27. This is $850. Nice looking piece. Again, solid for the grade, not an upgrade. Original white, good looking piece, good date. 27s sell really well for me. I think of all like the later piece dollars, these are kind of the ones that I handle the most, probably because 27Ps are amongst the quote-unquote easier ones of the last 27 to 35 run. PCGS old holder CAC sticker, $850. There was an a recent APR that sold for $840, so I'm right in line. All right, this is a good piece to talk about the lines I was discussing. All right, 27D. Notice the luster, really good luster. This is the way the luster should look on a piece dollar. A lot of times they're flat. That usually means they're cleaned, mishandled, screwed with, altered surfaces. This is real, original 27D luster. But then if you get close, and part of this is on the holder, but I'm going to try to show it. You can see like a few lines. These lines that show up on the face, there's one right there. And if you zoom in even more, you can see more of them. But these piece dollar cheeks, I don't know what it is, but man, they really take a beating. And it's really important to always look, because a lot of times you can have like hardly any bag marks at all. You'll have no bag marks, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, and then decent luster, and then people think, oh my God, it's a gem. No, look for the lines. Look for the lines on the face. Look for the lines on the neck. There's a few that blink too, right? Keep an eye out for lines on piece dollars. That's the best advice I can give you. Reverse is nice looking piece, probably more like a 4 reverse. Reverse doesn't take lines as much as the obverse. I don't know what it is about that cheek. Anyway, I'm going to stop droning on about that. This coin, $1,000. All right, penultimate one and the last piece dollar, 34 and 64 CAC, $525. One of the easier coins in the latter run. I'd say easier than a 27. Again, just a 64B, not an upgrade coin in my opinion. Here's another piece dollar thing. I'm gonna say one more thing about the cheek. When coins are toned like this, piece dollars that are toned, if you get a wild hair and you think that the coin's gonna dip out fine, beware of those lines that might be hiding underneath. This one does not have it, I don't think. I think I looked pretty closely, but I would never, ever, ever, ever mess with this coin. It's original luster. There's no real upside, and there's nothing but downside to try to make this a purely white coin instead of antique white. $525. And then next up, this coin I took in trade from the 090 that I just sold about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I sold this coin, I think I bought it at the A&A in 2022. Placed it with a client, and then he wanted a nicer one. And so I got this one in trade. I was glad to have it back. This is just working man's O mint. Got a nice O on it. You can see it right there. I'm trying to zoom in. Sometimes the O is really weak on these 090s. This one's pretty decent, especially for how much wear there is. This coin definitely saw some time and action in commerce. Key date, what is the mintage on an 090? I think it's 34,000. So they're out there. They're really nice to find original. So many have been messed with, so it's really cool to see a crusty original 090 $5 gold piece that, you know, is under 10 grand. I'm asking $8,000 for this coin. It's a little bit above CPG, but this is a coin that's in high demand, and it's in a price range for somebody looking for it, I think that it'll make sense. This coin sold back in 2022, by the way, at auction for $6,600. So I'll save you looking it up, but I know it's been off the market since then. And oh yeah, I do have one more, so I lied. I've mentioned in the past, and this is gonna be hard for me to shoot, but I'm gonna try to put it right here. So I've mentioned in the past that I really like, and I've always wanted the commander's list to be like you were going into your local coin shop, right? You just never know what you're gonna find. You go into your brick and mortar, and the dealer there is like, "Oh, good to see you. This just walked in. Are you interested?" I bought this at a local show the other day. It is a complete run from 1950 to 1964. The gentleman that sold it to me was in his 80s, and he showed me this. This was the original. I think he's fine with me showing a name, but he showed me the original custom plastic, the capital that he had done. It's piano hinged, which is kind of cool. He paid $46 for it way back in the day. You can see there's like rivets on the reverse that were custom. He paid $46.80 for it back in 1965. This got a little messed up. And he got it and did this as soon as he grabbed the 1964 proof set directly from the mint. Every one of these came directly from the mint. Most of them are in outstanding condition. And he said once he put them in 1965, he has not opened this case since. He was in the cloth business, and he made this little felt pouch that comes with it, which is kind of cool. It's also going to come with this. And, you know, this is $2,900 for this set. It is super neat. It's just one of those things that reminds me of going into the stamp and coin shop when I was a kid, and you never know what treasure you're going to find in there. All these are in great shape, by the way. I will say there's little haze on the 59 and the 60. I'm trying to show that. Doesn't really matter. They're not very important coins. There's no real haze on the 50 and the 51 and the 52, which are the tougher ones. I think if you look up the overall bid on these, you're going to think that that's a pretty good price, especially given what you got going on. I'm going to move this so you can see it. What a neat set, and I really appreciate this gentleman sharing it. He says it was one of the last things that he had in his collection, and he gave it a kiss goodbye and put it in the felt and walked off. It was pretty neat. All right, folks, if you like what we're doing here, you know where to find me. Hit the subscribe button, and until next week, happy hunting.